Coaching, Christine and Terry.
Hey everybody, how are you doing today?
We're getting a little rain up here in the Pacific Northwest, but I can see my raspberries growing and that really makes me happy.
Everybody jump in and let us know how you're doing, what your day is like, what the weather's like, if you want to tell us what the weather's like and where you're at. Love to have you here and enjoy doing this.
Today we're done is by putting it in your schedule.
Yeah, the different things that we have to do or want to do really to keep ourselves moving forward and doing everything that keeps us successful and keeps us moving towards our goals. And one of the things that we were talking about when we were working out what we're talking about today is, I have to schedule it or I totally forget all about it, and that's really what the title is for me, is I will forget it if it's not on a schedule.
I am definitely the one that puts things on the schedule. He says, schedule it and we'll get it done. And it's really true. Sometimes we'll talk about we want to do, let's work out tomorrow. For a long time that was, let's work out tomorrow. Okay, great. The only time it would get done is if we scheduled it and decided what we were going to do for our workout. Sometimes we do Shanti, sometimes we go for a walk, sometimes we do, some other beach body thing.
When the gym's open, we actually go to the gym. I love racquetball, so I play racquetball. And she'll do some of the different classes or things like that. But we have all kinds of different things. But one thing that we do for all of it is we schedule it in and we time block that. And that's one of the main things that we're talking about today, is time blocking in the schedule.
So we use Google. And I just recently learned that the default for Google for ours was an hour. A lot of things were like, an hour we can do.
Hi, Robin.
We have an hour to do things. Good afternoon, Robin. One thing that helped us is changing our Google from 1 hour to 30-minute blocks. And really high professionals do 15-minute blocks. I'd love to be into the 15-minute block soon because you can get sucked into things. So schedule when you're going to do certain things.
Yeah, and I mean we have our lunch scheduled, of course, but we have phone call time scheduled. We have Facebook Live time scheduled. We have pretty much anything we do scheduled. I actually, when I'm calling friends outside of my business to connect with them, we actually schedule that because I'm a talker and so are most of my friends, weird enough, and we just go on for hours.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And so I really, in the beginning of the call, one of the first things I say is I have about 15 minutes and then we have our little conversation, whatever it's about. And funny enough, that carries over into the business conversations too, or the other way around, however that goes.
You want to get to the core of it. We have 3 core ideas for you. The biggest one is you have your principal goals. You have your targets for the week, what you want to get done for the week, the month, the year. So how does that all break down into tasks? So you want to make sure that that's what you're doing first in your biggest blocks. Everything else is kind of distraction. So if you schedule, our focus right now is marketing. So we want to make sure that we have all those blocks put out.
Yeah, and when we're talking about our marketing, a certain amount of time, we have 15, 30 minutes for putting an ad on Facebook, 30 minutes to move it, do something in the backside of our website, and we really make it 30 minutes, and sometimes we go over, but we'll switch to the next task and come back to that task that we were doing.
Yeah, it's really evaluating, are we nitpicking at what we're doing, or is that really important, or can we have a professional do it? Just really, is it becoming a time drain and we need to have somebody else do it? This is something that we decided we needed to do, was put out our marketing schedule, and you're going to laugh at my details, but this is our marketing schedule. So No, it doesn't take that whole...
There you go.
I don't want to block my face.
Yeah, block us.
It doesn't take the whole time to do this, but it has, okay, we're going to schedule virtual coffee now. We're going to make sure we're still doing this networking thing. This is our other way, because we know our numbers. We know what we need to work, and we know how much time it is. If you want help with your marketing, that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
One of the things that she just said that's really important, I want to really key in on that, is we know our numbers. And so our schedule all wraps around what our numbers need to be in order for us to make the money that we want. And so really starting with that end goal of what you want for the month, the week, the day, really is what helps us guide us to creating the schedule for that day and how many people we need to talk to that are potential clients, how many clients
so
we'll
in
talk to,
our planning
things like that.
phase, we look at who our potential clients are and what kind of connections we want to make with them. So we were talking about reoccurring blocks. You want to put in reoccurring blocks. So like we mentioned, marketing and virtual coffee is right there. But the 5 things that you really want to look at is, when are you doing your client work? Block that in. When are you doing your marketing? When are you doing your business development, your goal planning, are you hitting your targets? And what all that looks like. And then another one is when you're going to talk to your assistant, or if you don't have an assistant, block out those assistant-y kind of tasks. Block out your social media tasks. And then when your 15-minute block is over, go to your next task. And then most importantly, right now, we can work hours and hours. It's scheduling in that personal task time. Yeah, we're blocking out when our lunch is consistently, so we're not just because food keeps my energy up.
Gotta feed her.
I get cranky.
And one of the other pieces for that personal time, we actually have scheduled in hypnosis sessions for anybody who wants to at 6 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because we find when we actually step away from everything and do something like that, it really helps us to reset, re-energize, and refocus what we're looking to do. And that's really important.
I'll put that link in for you guys. It's a free option. You can bring your friends and your family in. We just hop on and Terry guides us through. We'll do a little chit chat, a little connection with everybody, and then it's just a hypnosis, and it leaves you feeling more relaxed. Just taking that time out really allows us to be able to serve others and to be more productive when we are doing our time blocking.
Yeah, and the thing is all of us got into helping others to help others, and so it's not just about making money or having a business that's successful. For me, it really does come down to the idea of helping other people be able to have the success. And one of the biggest ways that I find is to share my gifts, whatever they are, when I can. And of course, I'm attempting to make an income and make money and doing things like that. But especially during this time of Corona and people being overstressed, I wanted to give back, and that one's awesome right there. I wanted to give back and make sure that something I could do that doesn't really cost me anything, and I'm already doing it anyway for myself, taking that time out.
Are you talking about the hypnosis?
Yes.
Okay. He's really good. It's very soothing.
Thank you. So the next thing is we actually on the end of our time blocking at night is we schedule a block of time to go over our goals, how we hit our goals or how we missed our goals for that night, and then plan for the next day. And that's that fifth thing that we do.
Like certain activities, just like we ran out of that time block and we shifted tasks. We used to be really slow at shifting tasks, but now that we're doing more time blocking, it's okay, here's this. Oh, we said this needs to happen next. We only have the half hour to do it. And you really become a lot more focused. Do other people experience that too?
Definitely throw up a comment about what your experience is with your scheduling and how you do time blocking, if you do time blocking, or if it's a novel idea you never heard of it before. Let us know. Comment, and if you want any suggestions on how you're doing things and how we see how you could improve it or change it in any way that would help you out.
Creating those routines, it might seem old and boring, but what you'll get out of it is just amazing. you know,
The structure.
preparing the night before really makes you come out blazing and exponentially get more done. I even remember back in the day, like for swim team, we'd have swim practice at 5 o'clock in the morning, and so I'd lay out all my clothes the night before so I could just throw on my swimsuit, throw on my clothes, and out the door.
And it's funny because we really, I know some of us, maybe not everybody, but I rail against structure, but the one thing that makes me move faster and get more done is structure. And so I rail against it in my head on one side of me, and then the other I know it's really good for me. So I just go with it and allow it to happen.
I mean, the top leaders kind of have someone else making their schedule, yet we have control of making our schedule and making it the most productive that we can. It's all about having the control of what you can control, which is a whole nother lesson. And then scheduling things that are out of your comfort zone. Putting that in too.
Definitely. A lot of the things that have gotten into our schedule, especially since COVID-19 and things, is really virtual coffees and connecting with people on Zoom and being on video. For some reason, it just never really made it into our calendar on a regular basis at all until this happened. And then it's like, okay, this is the time to change.
Robin brings up a great point, and that was a point we did want to cover, so thank you, Robin. On Google Calendar, it alerts you when your time block's up, but taking timer is huge. Setting a timer for that 15 minutes or whatever you're anticipating that it is going to take, or, you know, knowing that you have a half hour, but that 20-minute mark that you really got to plug through that last 10 is huge. Thank you for reminding, and it sounds like it's made a difference for you.
Yeah, timer has been always something that has moved me. I remember back when I was a little kid, I'd dilly-dally, and I still do the same thing. But I just go and get in my head and start thinking about other things and don't get done. And my mom started playing this thing. I mean, this is like 4 or 5 years old, and she started telling me, let's play Beat the Clock. How fast can you do this? How fast can you do that? And amazingly, it turned it into a game, and I started getting things done amazingly quick.
I'm totally going to do that more now.
Oh yeah, it's great, and I really believe in gamifying anything you're doing, whether it's time blocking and seeing how fast you can get things done, or even if it's if you have call reluctance and you're afraid to get on the phone, or there's just something blocking you because nobody's really afraid of that. It's really about making it a game and seeing what you can do instead of getting into your head about what's stopping you.
Creating the momentum is really important. Robin's sharing, I make the list and procrastinate right before the weekly deadline, and I said, deadlines are a great way to go too.
Deadlines are great, and one of the things Robin is talking about that's just really interesting to me, I worked with a lot of people around this, and it's my own personal strategy I used for myself when I was in grad school, because I did the same thing. I make a list and I just procrastinate everything. And so I moved dates up ahead of time. And so if it's due on Friday, I'd move it to a Wednesday and make that a drop dead date. And then what I'd do is I'd front load my laziness. I like to be lazy. I love to not do anything for a little while. And so what I'd start doing is I'd start getting everything I need to do done early, and then I'd have a whole lot more time to relax without that thing looming in front of me, and it really, really increased my productivity. And when I was relaxing, I wasn't thinking about anything that I had to get done.
Another spin on that is the procrastination is what are the littler chunks that you can do to hit that deadline, those 15-minute blocks.
Yeah. And
I want to see the rest of her comments, so I'm coming closer to you guys.
As she's doing that, I really am I really look at. Sorry about that. Our cat just did something. Ran through and knocked everything down. She's looking for a toy, I think. But one of the things I was going to say is procrastination is also linked to fear. And so if we're having some kind of procrastination and really can't get ourselves through it, step back and look at what's the fear. And then make a goal out of that as how to move forward through that fear.
Well, I think that's why just having to-do lists and not scheduling it is that you have the stress of it. It's not getting done. I suck. I failed. But if you schedule what's important, you keep to that schedule, and then your to-do list gets done.
Yeah, that strategic plan is so important.
Yes, the cat's okay. She has a twisty and she throws it in the air and wherever
and
it
runs.
goes. Yeah, she plays fetch.
The funniest thing. So one of the things that I really want to also touch on is, and this is something that I was thinking about, especially with COVID, and you hear all over the internet, all over Facebook, that when things get back to normal, and so the reality is, when we're thinking about that, we're hoping for a better tomorrow. And hoping for a better tomorrow is not a great plan. I suggest forget about what tomorrow is and really focus on today. Today is the day. Today is the only now we have. Now is what we do. And so it really helps me to center on worrying. Tomorrow's gone. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Yesterday's gone. The only thing we have is today. And so schedule out your time. Use those time blocks to actually move you forward so tomorrow actually has something more for you. And so it's really hard to do sometimes.
Just focusing on those working hours.
Yeah.
Today is focusing on that, and then to schedule that last little work chunk of your day to make sure tomorrow's set up and that you're intentional about tomorrow. That's kind of what you're saying, right?
Yeah, and it's all about intention, because when we really focus on now and do whatever we can now, tomorrow's going to take care of itself. It just does. We don't have to think about it. You know, COVID's going to do what it's going to do. The world is going to do what it's going to do.
But make those phone calls today.
And when we take care of today, we're good.
I so agree. I know when you do the strength finder things, I'm an achiever, and so I want to get all of those things done. I want to go. That's just part of my process, and so Scott, basically honor your schedule, because what you put on your schedule, I'd say 98% of the time actually gets done.
Yeah. And I think that's about it for us for today, because we have something starting at 10:30, and so we're going to honor our schedule.
So join us tonight. I'll put for hypnosis. Schedule your self-care. 6 o'clock. Come join us.
Love to see you. You guys have a great day.
You won't be on camera because you get to be in your full relaxed clothes.
There you go. Bye-bye, everybody.